coming up on the Lead Ministry Podcast.
Really, coaching for me is this plethora of life experiences, both in and out of the church, and the collective kind of 50 years of, thought and process that all comes together to go, wow, what would be a good thing?
Now your host, Josh Denhart.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Lead Ministry Podcast. My name is Josh Denhart. Grateful that you're here. It was a big weekend in the Denhart family. Our oldest graduated from college. That was fun. Then yesterday, my third child, we had a big graduation party for her. So boy, oh boy, was it a lot of fun. Big weekend. Well, I'm grateful that you're here today with the podcast. We are continuing this little series about coaching. Some of the podcasts are going to be with coaches that are Lead Ministry certified, and some of the podcasts are going to be with people who are either currently or have been a part of the coaching program through Lead Ministry. And so today, it is one of the episodes where I interview somebody who is doing coaching right now, and that is my friend Josh Zello. Josh, so grateful that you're here, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I see this, if you're on YouTube, I see the space that you're in. It was fun for me to spend, 2 or 3 days at your house and at your church. And that really was a pivotal turning point, Well, I'm sure we'll get into that in the podcast, but that was a lot of fun. I cherished it.
It sure was.
I cherished those times. It was fun.
It sure was. No, it's cool even sitting here now chatting with you. You've been in this room.
Oh,
you
yeah.
You can see the space that I'm in.
Absolutely.
You know that the street is right there because...
Yes. And I know that the likelihood of a police car or a fire truck roaring by exists.
It sure does.
And so when that if in fact that happens, we'll just make fun of it on the podcast and we'll just rejoice that it's not us that's in the back of the fire truck or something like that. I don't know.
There we go.
Well, grateful that you're here, buddy. We're talking about the power of ministry coaching, both from, just what it means to me as a coach, what it means to our other coaches, what it means to you as kind of a recipient of coaching. So we're excited. A couple quick things. If you're a part of the podcast for any length of time, you know that we do these 3 big buckets. It kind of helps from a listener's standpoint to have 3 big buckets that you can kind of like attach the content to. It makes for better engagement and better learning and better retention. So the first bucket, of course, is we're going to define it. What is this thing, ministry coaching? And then the next big bucket is we're going to develop it and go deeper. And we're going to give some anecdotal stories and some just more of an interview style with Josh. And then we're going to kind of have a call to action at the end. That's kind of how we do it. So let's jump in. This is a first big question is, what is ministry coaching? Now, Josh, I'm going to read this out loud, and then I want to ask for your thoughts, for your perspective. Here's what it says. What is ministry coaching? A ministry coach is a spiritual leader who provides tailored support, tailored guidance, and tailored encouragement to individuals, helping them grow in their faith, grow in their personal development, and grow in their career in the church. So give me your thoughts on this and how this applies to your world, or what your take is.
Yeah, so the 2 things here that I've seen worked out as I've been coached by you is, number 1, tailored. It really is customizable. Where even when we first talked, we talked for an hour and a half of me trying to catch you up of, hey, here's what city life is like.
Yes.
And here's how some things that, Josh, you may have coached and said, oh, you should try this. Well, I've tried those things and they don't work because I'm in a unique place being in the heart of Baltimore.
Yes, you have a very unique context that is something different than anybody else that I coach. It's super fun, but it's definitely different.
Yes, it is. It is. And that's why for me, the coaching was worth it because it's customized to me as opposed to like the lead videos, which are great. They're made for a broader crowd.
That's right.
And now I have you face to face to say, okay, Josh, here's the things that you learned in lead. Here's how you can make that work. Here's how you can make that thrive where you're at.
And modify it and tailor it, as you said,
Yeah.
to your individual unique context. Okay, that was the
Exactly.
first piece. You said there was two. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah. The second one is not just, you don't just bless me in my job here at the church, but in my life too. Personal development there. I think of a coaching call late last year that we had a dog and we had to give the dog back, and it was a whole thing. And we spent a good amount of time on how do I help my child process that dog.
Yep.
Because you know that holistically, if that goes south, everything else is going to fall apart too.
It's true.
And I'm not going to thrive in my job if my life is not thriving.
Yeah. And, I've met your daughter. I've been in your home, right? I've been on your street. And how do we do ministry in such a way that is a bless and not a stress to our kids and to our spouses? And so, something as significant to a 4-year-old, am I right?
Yep.
I mean, she's a pretty special kid, but it's pretty significant to have a bond with a dog and then exit. And so it was just, really coaching for me is this plethora of life experiences, both in and out of the church, and the collective kind of 50 years of, thought and process that all comes together to go, wow, what would be a good thing? So that's actually kind of fun, that as something as off the beaten path as how do I manage getting rid of my dog with my family? That was something that we spent time on, and it was very valuable to you.
Yes, it was. And since that went well, I do feel like it blessed me holistically.
Yeah.
So that's what I've seen with being coached by Lead, is that it's a very, it's like a whole life view.
Yeah, it is. It is.
You really do care about me to the point of you send me text that I've not written back to yet about, hey, Josh, are you doing your morning exercises? Which I need to step up. But you care about me and not just, am I going to thrive in my job?
Yeah, it is not just as cut and dried. Yeah, people have to understand, I take 12 people a year. That's it. No more. And you're one of those insider people. And I keep it at 12 primarily because that's the model that Jesus gave. And I don't want to get legalistic or weird about it, but I know my own limits, that I can't be up in everybody's world. If I have 50 people that I'm coaching, it just doesn't work that way. That's more, that's just not going to work. The other thing too is I've met your mom. I know your backstory. I mean, it happened to work out. I mean, that's a piece to coaching that I think a lot of people don't understand is I get to know the whole you.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. Well, here is another quote.
Because that week, real quick, Josh, that week that you were there, like you said, it timed so well that you did get to know my mom. You did get to know my wife, my child. You were here for a huge event. And we said, as we sat on my deck the night of that event, man, your coaching is about to just skyrocket.
Yep.
And it has.
It has, for sure. No question. Okay, so here's another quick quote from a definition standpoint, and it says this: ministry coaching is a partnership between a coach and a ministry leader to help them identify their strengths, overcome their challenges, and achieve goals in a faith-based context. It's a collaborative conversation that empowers individuals to live out God's calling and effectively serve in ministry. Takeaways from this.
Partnership is huge there. Every time that we start a coaching call, you say, hey, I have a plan, I have a map, but what do you need?
Yes.
What do you need from me before this call is up?
Yes.
What do you need from me to walk away and say this was a win?
Yeah.
And sometimes I go, let's just follow this map. And there's times that we go way off the beaten path and we don't even get to your map.
Exactly. And I call it off-roading, right? I have a plan, and then that opening line is always, at the end of today's call, what would be the biggest win or victory for you? Because I don't want to go down some predetermined plan where you have something critical that you need dealt with. Hey, I have an event coming up. I remember one person during coaching one time was like, hey, I have a huge budget, proposal. I've never officially created a budget. The first year I was here, I was handed the previous guy's budget. It didn't go well. And so now I've been tasked and I have to present in front of the whole staff and make my pitch. So we spent 2 entire calls plus some bonus conversations of emails and text to solve that. Though I don't have anything to do with budgeting in the coursework. Doesn't matter. I've written plenty of budgets. So it's really meeting somebody exactly where they are. Okay, let's jump into this big second bucket. How coaching can support an individual and how it actually has supported you. Okay, so how long have you been doing coaching with Lead Ministry?
So I've been part of Lead for a long time, many years, but I've been being coached for coming up on 2 years.
Yes. So you were a part of the courses, and
Yes.
then after having done a lot of the courses, found value, found benefit there, you jumped to the next level and started doing ministry coaching. And
I sure did. And I think how that went down is I became in the kids ministry Facebook group such a huge advocate for you, where I would point everybody to, hey, I've done these Lead courses. They've blessed the socks off of me. You should check this out. And you sent me a late text once and said, hey, I have a slot. Based on what I've seen from you, it sounds like this would bless you even more.
yeah, that is exactly how it went. Because I rarely have openings, right? And I thought, okay, because I get to kind of cherry pick now, right? And so I was like, hey, made the invitation, and boy, I'm certainly grateful. This has been a blessing for me. Time out. Do you remember that when I visited, we went on a tour of Baltimore and then went to the Science Center? Let's go.
Yes, it was great. We walked by and like a young child, you just looked at me with huge eyes and said, can we?
That's so fun. And then, I paid for us to go in, my treat, and we just noodled around and did some fun science stuff. It was actually, dude, that's my angle. I love it. I love it so much.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, it was fun. So you've been part of the coaching program for 2 years, and I think it's been a big benefit to you. It has been a benefit for me. Okay, what drew you to become? You kind of already answered it, but just in case if there's more, what drew you to become a ministry coach? To do ministry coaching with us.
Yeah. So radical intentionality is.
Tell me more.
It's a thing that I really love about Lead. That every single part of it, from conflict, meetings, internships, every single class that I've watched, every single video that I've seen, podcast that I've seen, it's this, hey, here's how to steer. Here's how to be intentional where you're at. I love that. That's what's really blessed me here in City Kids. In 3 years, we've grown this from 17 kids to 105 kids.
That's
and part
insane.
of that is because I've steered the ship. I haven't just let it go. I didn't just come and maintain. I came in and said, okay, I need to lead. I need to be radically intentional here.
Yeah.
And I just wanted more of that, really.
That's awesome, man. Okay. How has coaching benefited you as a person, and how has it benefited you as a ministry leader? Again, we've kind of touched on this, but there's certainly some more layers to this.
Yeah. So it's helped me grow intentionally, some real concrete ways. One of the things that I evangelize this every week, Lead meetings. It's huge.
Yeah. Lead meetings, right on.
It has completely transformed how we meet.
And it's kind of trickled up to some of your senior staff, though, hasn't it?
It has. So we don't use that yet as like the full staff, but every ministry area does use it.
That's outstanding.
Worship does, discipleship does now, youth does.
So this is always one of my greatest hopes, right? 2 Timothy 2:2, the things that you have heard from me in the presence of many witnesses, pass them on to others who will be able to pass them on to others as well. That's
right. That's right. And part of it has been within the church, those who are on the City Kids leadership team really enjoy the monthly ministry meeting. And all of the other ministry leads look around and go, what? They like it? They want to go? It's not like pulling teeth trying to get them there. Like, no, they really want to be there.
Yeah.
And the months that I've not scheduled one, I've gotten flack from them.
Right.
Because they wanted me.
Okay, so this is the first that you're telling me this, which is awesome. But I had this identical experience that all of a sudden our people in the area that I led were loving our meetings. I had one guy say, he was an executive for a huge insurance company. He was a very successful man. And he said, I would never miss a meeting with you. And I was like, oh, wow. Why? And he said, I grow as a person. I grow as a volunteer. I'm a better insurance executive because I attend meetings with you. That was an encouragement. So that's great. So our crew liked it. Nobody wanted to skip. Nobody did the whole like ministry groan of, another meeting. We were all eager to get there because they were productive. They were relationally rich and they were personally enriching. Now, the other thing too, though, Josh, what happened to me, which is also what's happened to you, is the fruit that we were bearing as a ministry and the evidence of our collegiality and our excitement about meetings. Other people wanted to do what we were doing.
Yes. And here's the fun thing. If I just watched Lead, I could have built
just
this.
the videos.
It would have
just
been
the
fun.
videos.
But what the coaching did is you really helped me build, okay, how can we make this as the word that you just used, how can we make this as relational as we can?
Yeah.
So I have a City Kids leadership team of 8, and we meet once every month.
Yes.
And what you helped me build is we take turns on who cooks. The first 30 minutes, we just fellowship and eat. We're now reading a ministry book that we, during the prepared time, we discuss that. I now take turns of who leads that. So they're getting
leadership development.
Yeah. And you helped me build that. So if I just watched that, I could have tried things. Some things would have worked, most things, but some things might not have. But since I have you face to face, you helped me build what we have.
Yeah. And I got to say, I was actually a part of one of those at your house and we had chili. Come on.
Yes.
And I got to meet with you and with your team. Okay. Can you share a story where coaching really helped you navigate a complex ministry situation?
Yeah. One of my favorite ones is you helped me stop doing childcare.
Okay. I forgot about this. This was a slam dunk. Tell that story.
It sure was. So to unpack that more, when I first came here, as is every church,
sure,
the team just expects, okay, the kids team is going to do childcare for every single ministry event.
Mm-hmm.
And what I saw, I actually built a thing that we did it pretty well. But what I saw was childcare was cannibalizing City Kids.
Cannibalizing. So team, I understand what that means. Explain it to the listeners.
Yeah, the team that serves in City Kids every single Sunday morning for free, and this is not a greed thing, this is just a human thing. Mm-hmm. They were faced with, okay, so I can serve in City Kids Sunday at 9 for free. Have a blast. It'll be great. Or I could serve Sunday night for this event and get paid for it and just go to church with my wife and kids.
Wow.
Why would I serve in City Kids? If I can say, I'm going to serve Sunday night, I'm going to get paid, and I don't have to serve Sunday during church, why would they not?
Yes. And so cannibalizing, meaning that you were finding it harder to line up a spiritual workforce for your most important discipleship venue, Sunday mornings.
Yes. The success of City Kids was being hindered by childcare.
Compromised even.
Yes.
Wow. And I remember, if I could take over this part of the story, because I obviously remember this vividly, but it was not top of mind as we started the podcast. What was funny is I remember making a very intelligent whole pitch deck with you about how you were going to propose this. We troubleshot it. I don't know if we went so far as role played it, but we did a lot of out loud thinking about this. And then I remember you even pitched it to the broader church.
Yes.
And
because for that, Josh, it was about, remember, our membership meetings that we have every other month.
Yes.
As
a
was
church.
At that point hiring childcare for it. And
you were hiring childcare for the ministry monthly membership gathering of your church.
Correct. So the membership, all church membership, that was every other month. Hiring childcare, I would just find, this is what I was told, I would just find like childcare providers off of like Facebook groups.
Yes.
And of
course, not associated with your church. And partly because you were pilfering from your very own. People only have so much time to give.
Correct. And for that specific church event,
you wanted all of your members.
Everybody needed to go to that event.
Yes.
So they can't serve.
This is so interesting.
So what you helped me pitch was, we're going to have parents take turns on who comes and serves. And I'm going to put up a whole form for the whole year. Parents are going to sign up for one slot, and it's going to be fully staffed with parents that we know. And what you helped me do was, when I pitched that to the whole church, I started out with, you could hear a pin drop in this room. I started out with, I don't know the group next door with your kids.
And then I remember me saying, pause for effect.
Yep.
Let that sink in.
And then, of course, I did say, hey, I background checked them. I've called around, but I don't know them. And I don't love that. And I know that you don't. So what I propose is this: we're going to be a gospel family here, and we're going to step up to care for each other's kids. And if you sign up for one slot once a year, we will never have to staff this childcare again. And I don't even think about it now.
What was the response? Obviously, it was a slam dunk. It's filled. You don't have to think about it anymore. But what was the response?
Parents loved it. I got a ton of text saying, hey, we feel super loved, and we feel like you really care about the safety of our kids.
Okay. Not that I want to make this podcast necessarily about that particular shift that you made, but really there's a huge piece to it. And the nexus of that is, I'm not taking something from you. I'm actually providing something to you. It was all in the framing of what, and that's the blessing of coaching. I am an outside person who is looking in and giving this unique advice. And so that was a complex situation. Okay.
It sure was.
And by the way, I've watched those. Often, Josh, what happens is that I'm on the call after somebody did the pitch without talking to me, and it was a little bit dicey. And they're like, now I've got massive cleanup on aisle 9. And then we spend some coaching times to go, okay, we can save this, but I think we did it the right way. Okay, next question. What course or courses through the lead ministry coursework? We have 13, I think, full-length courses. What course or courses have benefited you the most, or would you say are your favorites?
I'll quickly just highlight 3. Okay. Lead volunteers.
Yeah. Kind of the flagship course.
Yeah. And there's a reason why, because of that, City Kids, I would guess, and I've not looked at this, but I really think this is true. City Kids probably has the best retention in the church.
That is outstanding.
And I think that's not because of me. It's because of the work that I've done to retain them.
That's right. And
it's hard work.
Oh, it is hard work. But the thing is this is what a lot of people don't understand, is that Lead Volunteers is a system. It is a system that is, yes, you can modify it, but if you just put in the work, you are going to find this is a repeatable process by which you can care for people, and they stay with you. That's huge, man.
Yes. And of course, I already touched on this, but the Lead Meetings course is great.
Yeah.
And then right now I'm going through Lead Up.
About how to lead up to senior leaders and get your way.
Correct. Because I am, God willing, next month, I'm about to be voted in as a pastor here, which means I'm now in the elder meetings. And it's new to me. So I don't know how to be in an executive chair.
Now, watch this. Here's the best part. And I want to give you a lot of reassurance. I cannot wait to roll some one-on-one coaching with you about how to lead up. It is one of my favorite topics, and you can be such a dynamic influence on your entire church, even if you're not the one steering. I was steering from a back seat, and I was making suggestions, and we were taking lefts, we were taking rights based on the subtle influence that I was able to have. It's so crazy. I can't wait to work through that with you individually. That'll be fun. I'm excited. Okay. What is something unique that has stuck with you out of our times of coaching?
This is going to sound trite, but it's not. You're just there for me.
Yeah.
I think if there was a specific, because human beings, right? There was a conflict within my church that I had found that, I'm now the one who's supposed to be settling this.
Yep.
And I called you. I remember to this day, it was a 30-minute ride from the church to Trader Joe's. And I sent you a text and said, hey, can we chat? You happen to have a 30-minute slot, and you just rode to Trader Joe's and talked through it with me.
Yes. And that's the benefit. You have the red phone. You have the emergency text. You have the emergency phone call. And I remember, here's a distinct one for me. I remember me in Mexico on vacation with my family, and everybody was out, my daughter was with some friends. My son and my wife were just kind of like, nope, we're done. We're going to go to bed. And I didn't want to. So I called you on the phone. We had like an hour and a half talk, me sitting on a lounge chair. Yeah. And so it's life. It's me and you doing life together. Now, that is a unique thing. But before we go on to the last piece, Josh, I want to speak, and I'm going to have you back on when we hit lead events. So we're going to have an entire episode on this. So that's just a teaser for the future. But could you speak to the uniqueness of me coming to your town, sleeping on your couch for a couple nights, hanging out with you, but then I attended your largest outreach event?
Yes. And let me lead with this. The funny thing is, and you reassured me that night this was a good thing.
Yes.
But I don't think this event went that well. And I have had this event years past.
Yeah.
And it's gone so well. And it was the worst this event has gone.
Are you kidding? This is the first you've told me this.
And no, I think that I did say this on my deck. And what you said, Josh, was, no, that's good because I got to see the holes.
Yes.
Where years past, those holes were there, but we just kind of glazed over them.
You just glossed over them. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I do now remember sitting
because the event had grown so big.
Yes, I do remember us sitting on your rooftop deck.
Yes.
And kind of that was a special night, by the way, having a quick review. And I took multiple pages of notes, and this was not like, these aren't bad things. The event was great. It came off, a lot of people, great attendance, but it was like, hey, here's this little teeny piece of low-hanging fruit. This would be easy to fix. And you were like, why didn't we think of that? Well, the reason why you didn't think about it is because you are working in it and I am looking at it.
Yes. And then I gave you a call 2 weeks ago when we had our big egg hunt event.
Yeah.
And said, hey, the things that you wrote down, I used those. And wow, it went really well.
Yeah. So in other words, the fall festival event, you then applied that which we had worked diligently on. You had worked diligently on. And because remember, it wasn't just about, and I've said this many times, this is not about fall festival. This is creating a system by which all events, the water level is going to raise for every single event that you do. That's what happened.
And when I say that this event didn't go well, I don't mean that. I mean, it was a fine event.
Oh, yes.
But things went wrong that have not years past. And when I look back now, I'm glad that you were there when things did.
Yes.
When we looked around and said, oh, the event starts in 5 minutes and my team's not here yet.
Yep.
I'm glad if that was going to happen that you were there for it.
Yes. And I want to give a shout out to your humility, but also the level of trust that you and I truly have. I mean, I consider you to be like a good friend of mine. And that level of trust allowed you to have an event and not feel weird that I was somehow critiquing it. No. This was just showing very small things that could be done. So that was a huge thing that was on site in live coaching. That was kind of fun and kind of unique. Okay, let's hit this last big bucket as we close out. Why should others consider getting a coach? Here's the final question. What would you say to someone who was on the fence or who is on the fence about having a ministry coach? What would you say?
I would ask, don't you want that red phone? Don't you want a friend to call to work through hard things? Josh, we have a coaching call this week.
Yes, we do.
And there's things that I look forward to getting to chat through because I was up late chatting through them with my wife last night. And she's like, hey, I'm here to hear you out, but I don't know what to say. And I'm like, wait, I have Josh. I'm going to talk to him too. So I really think it's a really valuable thing to have a voice that's outside of your church. To speak into what you do. Where if I just go to those within my church, we're just kind of navel gazing here.
You are. And the other thing too is, and I've never really thought totally about this, but it can be a little bit of a marriage save. Just a teeny degree of marriage help, because it's not the healthiest thing for me to download to my wife all that's going on with my work and expect her to just listen and try to be my ministry coach. That's a bad choice. Yeah.
No, and we've been trying to think through that a lot now as I lead more. We're like, man, what do I share? What do I not?
Yep.
The great thing with you is I can just share things because that's what you're there for.
Absolutely.
And those who are on the fence, I would say you need that.
Yeah.
You need a friend to call and say, hey, this or that, help.
In conjunction with just having a friend, this particular friend happens to have 13 full-length courses that you can audit at any time, and then we dive deep into those. So, Josh, you are the man. I am so grateful. You are truly a life friend to me. I actually, I have the Amazing Chemistry show, obviously, and I actually seek to discount shows to get out to Maryland so I can come hang with you. That's so funny.
Yes.
Literally the other day, I was like, well, what if we swung it this way, and we'll see what happens. But I want to get back out there, buddy.
Yeah. I want you here.
Well, that's awesome. And okay, final thing. This is the final thing. How adorable was it when you prepped your then, because I was there for your daughter's birthday, on her 4th birthday. And you had to let her know that I was leaving the next day. And she burst into tears. And so that I had to come upstairs and kind of be Uncle Josh for just a little bit.
It was so good. I'm pretty sure that she thought that you just lived on our couch now.
Yeah, and that would have been super, super fun. And it was a blessing. Well, Josh, God bless you. This has been good. Hey, gang, guess what? We are grateful that you were here. Hey, listen, what Josh is saying is true. You need that red phone person. And we are a resource. If we could help, we would love to do that. So check out leadministry.com/coaching, and we will catch you good, ladies and gentlemen, on the next one.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Lead Ministry Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and visit leadvolunteers.com for more episodes and resources. Thanks for listening.